Who the hell put Bram in the game? Those were the infamous words spoken by my 10th grade varsity basketball coach. Killian was his name. Once a coaching legend in the Cleveland area, questioning his own actions was a sign that, quite frankly, the man needed a break. He had retired from coaching public school teams several years ago, but our school convinced him to come out of retirement to take one last coaching job. While the team my freshman year was successful, winning 14 games and losing 4, the team my sophomore year would finish with an abysmal 9-11 record, and Killian would subsequently retire at halftime in the last game of our season. The introducing quote happened earlier in the season. I was just a sophomore playing on the varsity squad. Well, not exactly playing, but I was there at least. After falling to an 0-2 start, I was dying to get some playing time. So, I copied what many of the older kids on the team did when they wanted playing time, by taking a seat right next to the man in charge. All he needed was to notice I was on the team, and then surely I'd be playing. About 2 minutes into the second quarter, Killian looked over at me for less than half a second, touched my shoulder, and said, "Get in the game." Filled with glee, I essentially skipped over to the scorer's table, anticipating the electrifying feeling of playing in a varsity basketball game for the first time. Once in the game, it was even better than I had imagined. The pace of the game, the talented opposition, the cheering crowd, it was fantastic. For about all 40 seconds, as I was almost immediately subbed out. Once on the bench, I asked a teammate if I had done anything wrong to warrant being taken out so quickly. "Did he even tell you to go in?" my teammate asked. "Of course he did," I answered. "Why?" Seeking reassurance, my clearly confused teammate asked, "Are you positive?" "I'm positive," I answered. "What happened?" I demanded. Slow to respond, he finally answered, "Well, once you got in the game, Coach looked over at me and said," and that's where the introducing quote comes into play. Apparently, Killian had wanted my teammates to go in, not me. As told by my teammates, Killian said it so loudly the whole crowd heard and erupted in laughter. My school has a no-cut policy when it comes to the basketball team. During my sophomore year, there were roughly 30 kids that started the season on either the varsity or junior varsity teams. Obviously, not everybody could get a chance to play. So the coach decided to move some of the sophomore players they thought wouldn't amount to anything to the varsity squad. While a couple of kids quit, my friend and I decided to stick it out. At least we would be able to go to the YU tournament, we figured. My friend and I barely played that season, although my friend did get the chance to start one game. Before one of the last home games of the season, just as we were leaving the locker room, my coach looked back in the room and inquired, "So, everyone on the team has started a game, right?" "Not me, Coach," I answered. I thought, if I gain nothing else, at least I'll be able to say that I started a game in front of the home crowd. I could set the pace of the game. I could start against the talented opposition. I could hear the crowd roar. In a calm, yet aggravated manner, my coach replied, "How am I supposed to start you?" I didn't play that game. As the season wound down, despite frustration for my lack of playing time, I was still excited to go to the YU tournament. At the tournament, I knew there would be the best Jewish high school basketball players in the country, and I could soak up as much basketball knowledge as possible. Then, just a couple days before the regular basketball season ended, I saw the director of our sports team in the hall. He told me that my friend and I would not be going to the YU tournament that year. 14 players were sent during my freshman and junior seasons, but only 12 were sent during my sophomore year. Upset at my failures with the basketball team, I needed to be able to vent my frustrations of life somewhere. So basketball became my therapy. I signed up for the Cleveland Cavaliers junior basketball camp. After the season ended, I spent nearly every day practicing on my outdoor basketball hoop. In practice, I would take over 1,000 jump shots a day, trying to perfect the biggest weakness in my game. Just before I would go inside each day, I would take one final shot, the shot that so many great players make, the game winner. I would close my eyes and imagine the scene. Mizrachi, down by 1 in the YU championship game. Glazer at the top of the wing, isolated with the defender, one-on-one. Fake left, 2 dribbles to the right, pull-up jumper, switch. In my junior year, 12 players were selected to play on the varsity team. My friend wasn't one of them. I was. In the first home game of the season, despite not starting, I scored 14 points. That was as many points as I scored in total during my entire sophomore year. As a senior on the varsity squad, I was named a starter. Spanning back to my basketball career in middle school, I never started a game unless someone was either injured or missing. Now people in the halls tell me how I play like a beast, a compliment of the highest order. Now I get my chance to start every game against the talented opposition, to set the pace of the game, to finally hear the crowd roar. I know in 10 years I will not be playing basketball professionally, probably in most a pickup game at the local gym. But basketball has done more for my life than be a good source of exercise. In 10 years, I don't know where I'll be or what job I'll have. I'm not sure what my salary will be. But this is because the job I have will not be chosen based on how much money it makes, or if it gives me the chance to drive the fanciest car. It will be a job I choose because it will be something that I love to do, something that gets me excited to wake up in the morning, something that makes me happy. And in the end, just as it did in basketball, my hard work will help me overcome any adversity I may face in the future.